Ghanaian politician, first deputy speaker between 1993 and 2001, second deputy speaker of parliament between 2001 and 2005, former member of parliament for South Tong constituency, Greater Accra, the Volta region, Republic of Ghana. He is also an author, and you should read his book, memoir, My Defining Moments. You're sure to find my name in there. The Right Honorable Ken Dzirasah joins us on the phone line. Good morning, sir, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing, Togbiga?
Well, we are hanging in there. I cannot say it is a smooth ride because by the day we are being submerged by the indiscretion of the Volta River Authority. And the situation is getting worse because yesterday, for instance, the level of the water rose by as much as 4 feet. The result is that even if you want to manage to reduce your challenges, you are taken by surprise. So air conditioners are underwater. Various places are flooded, kitchens, boys' quarters, everything. And it is a challenge for us. Regrettably, VRA is so unapologetic because it continues to do the same thing every time. And we don't complain because we appreciate the fact that having sacrificed to host these two huge investments that generate electricity for us, the Akosombo and the Akosombo Dam, we must take responsibility to support national projects that bring development. But the managers of the investment are not doing well at all. First of all, under the enabling act, that is the Volta River Authority Act 46 of 1961.
Right.
VRA is a statutory body that has responsibility for the management of the lower Volta basin. And management of the lower Volta basin includes ensuring that there is an appropriate level of salinity in the water that can ensure that aquaculture, aqua life, thrives. Now, they have never succeeded in doing that. Because of that, our fish stocks have completely depleted, and that explains why, for instance, most of my kith and kin have moved. Some of them are in China, some of them are in the north, where for political reasons, at times they classify them as Togolese. Now, the current situation we are facing is the product of the remission of duty and responsibility. For over 20 years, the Volta River Authority, I am aware, because I left active parliamentary business just about 16 years ago. But 5 years prior to my exit, that was the time that Volta River Authority led the estuary. And since then, now the result is that when you put too much pressure on the downstream, and it gets choked, the rivulets and then the streams that feed into it get easily flooded, and this goes directly into the communities. So without notice, you see that the places get affected. And the result also is that as we speak now,
Mm-hmm.
communities like Mepe,
Mm-hmm.
my ancestral village, Pico, which is eventually an island. If you read it in my book,
That's right. I read that in your book.
have been evacuated. It is a very serious situation we are facing. It is not an individual fight.
What should the state be doing at this point? Because this is just VRA and NADMO in the picture. But what should the state be doing? Should the president, for example, declare a state of emergency around that area?
And this time around, yesterday, my MP and the district chief executive were here on my premises. They came and studied the situation. I hope they have noted the challenges we face. Mine is not in isolation. And I do hope also further that they will make appropriate recommendations to the authorities. But invariably, once the water level subsides, everybody forgets about it, and it is business as usual. So what we should do now is to retool the VRA, or they themselves, because they are a commercially viable enterprise, they should retool themselves, get another dredger, and on annual basis they should open up the channels that lead into the water river into the sea. Now let me give you an idea, a bit of the geography of the place.
Right. Mm.
Lower Volta basin covers the Kita Lagoon enclave, which is host to towns like Anyako, Dabe, all those places. So when the water level is high, because it cannot gain ingress into the sea, what it does is that it spreads out and goes through some channels and is able to enter the lagoon. Hello?
You're alive, sir. We can hear you.
Yes, and the lagoon, when it rises, then it floods places like Anyago. The geographical distance between the water at Togakope to Anyago is over 50 kilometers. That is the extent to which the devastation goes. So it is a national problem. But we pay too much lip service. At the end of the day, we are sorry. Since this dam was constructed, this is the third time that we are suffering a major catastrophe in terms of flood. The first one was during the preparatory stages of the dam in 1963, when there was a real flood. And I recall that even my late mother, because of the pressure of challenge of the time, and when highly pregnant, eventually gave birth to one of my siblings in Kanu.
Oh, I see.
Now, the next one was in 1966. Then another one, which was a bit mad, was in 1968. This one is fairly major. And the number of buildings that have collapsed, the number of buildings that have gotten to their neck, to the extent that it is only the roof that is visible, they are uncountable. I do hope that at the appropriate time, VRA would conduct a census of all this and take appropriate steps. Because
what appropriate steps would you want them to take?
They have to look at the possibility of compensating the victims.
Right.
Because I can see ahead that this time around we are going to engage in class actions in court to ensure that they live up to their responsibilities, their statutory responsibilities. We are not going to forgive them because the information we have is that there is a very strong lobby group, and that lobby group are those people who cultivate the fish tilapia. And you can understand why opening the dam at the appropriate. So VRA has delayed. Somebody told me this morning, and that person is a respectable individual. He told me this morning
that
they had, and he lives on the river, that when the Akosombo Dam waters started rising to the dangerous limit, everybody was raising hue and cry over this and caution that they ought to steal. And they said, now we who have sacrificed to provide opportunity for industry to grow, opportunity for people to engage in pleasure, because electricity, that is what you need to engage in your leisure and pleasure. And then for the opportunity for national development. We are at the receiving end of this indiscretion on the part of some authorities.
For those of you who have modest businesses around the area, are you able to share with me the extent of damage that this has done to your businesses, your homes, and other enterprises that young people, for example, have ventured into?
Yes, you, Johnny, you are a friend of mine.
Yes, sir.
Without intending to disclose that, you know.
I cannot deny that I know waterfront.
Absolutely. Now, where you would descend to the beach, where the sun is.
Right. Under the trees.
They said from the main barrier onto the sand, where the volleyball court is.
Right.
You will be about 4-5 feet neck deep in the water.
And just so our listeners get a perspective of what Honorable Ken Dzirasah is talking about, is live now on our Facebook page at 3FM927. I know the location very well because he was magnanimous enough to have given us some packages for Valentine couples some few years ago. And if you look at what's happening there now, it's five. I can see the volleyball court, submerged in water from where I sit here.
Yes.
So go ahead, sir.
Yes. You know the location of the kitchen.
That's right.
The kitchen is higher, far higher than the volleyball court. That place is submerged. The area that we identify as lowest arc for recreational purposes.
Right.
It is gone beyond little level. I'm talking about little level. Then the boys' quarters, which hosts my staff, that place too has been flooded. Now, I have my personal water processing facility that turns the water from the river through reverse osmosis into drinkable and very, very pure water.
Right.
For all purposes. The pumps have submerged, and I have had to hurriedly uproot them. The machine itself, I have had to remove it and relocate. Now, the water I cannot produce any longer. But that is not enough. Downstream, about 5 nautical miles downstream, the Ghana Water Company facility that produces affordable water for the southern sector of the Volta region, including Pita, Aglonga, all those places, and Sogakofo for that matter. This facility is right on the river. And with the height I am talking to you about 5 feet, it definitely must have submerged because we don't have running water now. And the water, because it has traversed so many locations, picking up all kinds of, infections, bacteria, and all those things, it is not drinkable in the first place. And you cannot even use it to bath because it is smelling. That is how serious the matter is. So it is not business as usual. And the VRA should get ready. Because if VRA had decided to dredge the estuary, there would have been free flow of this water into the sea. You see, the struggle at the estuary. You have reported several incidents of boat fishermen capsizing.
Right.
The water is so stormy there because two water bodies are struggling to mix with each other. That is one of the reasons why there is this accident. If the place was wide enough and deep enough for the water to get into the sea, and then the sea also, when it is high tide, can also climb and diverse, salty water, the fish that come up in to pond, they would have been coming, and our brothers would be making their living, earning their living.
Right.
Now, but the worst of all what is happening is that there is a huge danger that the structural integrity of the bridge is likely to be compromised.
The bridge leading to Sogakopper.
Yes, the bridge across the water. That is the longest bridge we have in the country.
That's
and
correct.
Is the most solid of concrete. But what is happening is
if that happens, then the consequences will be dire.
It's unimaginable. That is why I may want to use this medium to respectfully appeal to the Water River Authority and urge them to critically examine their mode of operation. What they are doing, if they don't slow down out of the extreme desire to protect the dam, which is also important to do, and the water level climbs up, because at this point it is almost at the neck of the bridge, the pillar. What will happen is that most of the water will climb up, and then it will now start hitting the main frame of the bridge. And once it hits up, and it has to force its way up, so it the bridge. And the devastating consequences of water. It has happened in what you call it, Libya recently. So we want to appeal to VRA that they promised that they would release the water within reasonable intervals. But they slept over this promise to such an extent that videos we have seen about the level of the water in the bridge suggest that it has climbed far beyond the
acceptable levels.
Yes, acceptable level. And why should that be the case? When we have engineers there, and we have everybody who matters and who knows that the consequences of the water rising to that level will be there for everybody.
I see. So if I hear you right, you say if VRA doesn't come properly with the right compensation and residual measures, there may be class actions. You could be involved in taking VRA to court to do the proper thing.
Yes.
All right. I thank you very much indeed for your time, Honorable Ken Dzirasah. We're grateful that you could speak to us this morning, and we share and feel in your pain, and we pray that something good happens to turn around your situation as soon as possible.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, we're grateful that you could join us this morning.
Okay.